Hello and welcome everybody to my Any Plunders You video deck guide. I'll be talking about the general tips, general idea, strategy and the mulligan for this deck versus most matchups. Meanwhile, on the Reddit post there will be also a separate part, and on YouTube of course, the other videos which are designed so you can see how to play against different matchups that are not the ones that are general. For example, versus aggro deck where you don't want to actually ramp on turn 4, where you would rather have all the 1 and 2 drops and make a rain so you can actually not die versus aggro. So, first thing is the general idea. Imagine that you're playing the Venom deck with no 3 drops, where you try to ramp on turn 4 so you outvalue the opponent not just by strong units but as well as by having more mana than the opponent, so you're able to play more cards, as well as the fact that you have card draw. Meanwhile, Bannerman does not have card draw, and by the fact that actually the deck is fun to play and not boring when you actually play Bannerman every time and nothing amazing happens there. So that's the abstract. So when talking about the cards in the deck and why do you have those cards, that's where we step in now with Twisted Fate and Sejuani. And besides Twisted Fate and Sejuani, you also have double 1-drops, triple 2-drops, and you have Wolf Rider for ramping on turn 4, and then you only have 2 cards that are high mana costs besides Sejuani. So having Omen Hawk and Starlight Seer helps you to potentially buff Twisted Fate, so he is not just a 2-2 when you draw him, but instead a 3-3 or a 4-4 or even higher. So when you are able to buff him out with those 2 units, with spells combined with Starlight Seer, your Twisted Fate becomes a really strong win condition. If he is able to level up, he can turn your game around. You can draw more cards, get more options, get 1 mana back with the blue card as well, and the 1 damage to all opponents as well as the stun card. Just because of the fact that the red card enables your Plunder or the Sejuani level up. When in late game, it can freeze the entire opponent's board when Sejuani is leveled up, if you're able to get Sejuani and Twisted Fate leveled up on the field, which is not that often, but it sometimes happens. So besides Omen Hawk and Starlight Seer, which enable you to get Twisted Fate and other units stronger in stats, when you get a stronger Raider or Wolf Rider, they have Overwhelm, so they're potentially really helping you out here because they are able to potentially survive 1 more round if they're surviving the attack, and then you can potentially plunder 2 times with them. The Warning Shot enables a lot of combos with the deck together with Pilfered Goods, together with your Wolf Rider, Black Merchant, with Riptide Rex, with Tusk Raider, as well as Sejuani. So even though it's a 0 mana spell, you want to have 3 off, and it contains real high value in this deck because you do have Salvage, Pilfered Goods, and Merchant to draw you cards, as well as Tusk Raider draws you 1 card as well, and potentially Twisted Fate if you're going for that blue card. So these cards are here not just because of drawing cards as well as the Twisted Fate level up, as well as the fact that Merchant and Pilfered Goods can sometimes be a win condition. When playing, for example, versus Lux Karma, where if you're not able to sort of aggro them and kill them, you're gonna get to that mid-late game situation where he has an unyielding on a card, and you cannot kill it with this deck in any possible way. So yoinking or stealing the opponent's Will of Ionia can win you this matchup. So in some situations, stealing cards from the opponent wins you the game, as well as the fact where you're playing versus a Bilgewater deck, where they have cards to steal your cards as well. If you steal their cards by reduced cost with the Merchant, you're essentially getting huge value if you potentially steal a Pilfered Goods or a Merchant, where all the cards then become even cheaper. So versus a Bilgewater deck, I highly suggest that you steal their cards before they steal yours, and you get that value. So, moving on, Make It Rain and Warning Shots are your Plunder spells. And the only bold clear you have, besides Make It Rain, is your Rex and your Sejuani. So if you're playing versus a deep deck, for example, Sejuani is very important here because Maokai will mill you and you will lose. Unless you're able to aggro them, which is not so easy. Or, second option, get that Sejuani, kill that Maokai, and don't let him mill you, and so you can have more turns and win the game and not lose the game instead. So sometimes I keep Sejuani even in my opening hand if I get a 1-drop or a 2-drop or such, where I can consider that I do have early game, as well as a Sejuani in my hand that can kill Maokai. So, besides Seer and all those cards that we talked about, Raider and Wolf Rider, great overwhelm cards that can plunder, as well as the fact that like you have Warning Shot and Make It Rain to enable Wolf Rider ramping on turn 4. So the essential idea is that you play your 1 and 2 drops, and then turn 3 you bank your spell mana. You don't play anything on turn 3 if you have, for example, 3 spell mana to use, you'll make it rain so that you can ramp with Wolf Rider on turn 4. Or if you have Warning Shot, so you have 0 mana, so you can actually play another 2-drop or another 1-drop, so you can plunder on turn 4 and ramp, because that's the essential point of this deck, that you play a 1, 2-drop, and then turn 3 you don't play a unit, so you can guaranteedly plunder and ramp on turn 4. If you, for example, don't have a Wolf Rider, or if you don't have a way that you can plunder turn 4, you can get a Warning Shot from your Yordle Grifter and then ramp on turn 5. If you do not get a Wolf Rider turn 4, if you don't have it in your hand, it's still fine. You're not going to lose the game. You're not going to essentially just straight up lose. But that is an objective that you're going for. Why do I have 1 Rex and 1 Raider? So the thing is, Rex is an amazing card. It helps you clear the board. So why would I not have 2 Rexes in my hand in the deck instead of having 1 and 1 Raider, Tusk Raider? So the idea behind it is 2 reasons. First reason is having a Tusk Raider drawing you a double in stat Sejuani, as well as the fact that you have triple salvage, so you can actually draw more cards and get those other units buffed up in stats as well, is very good here. Because some decks that run Tusk Raider and don't have card draw, it's a bit of a problem because you're not going to get the most value from that Tusk Raider giving double stats to all your units. As well as the fact that like doubled in stats Sejuani can be a real issue for the opponent to deal with. So it can potentially turn 9, turn 10, win you the game just by attacking with Sejuani, freezing something and attacking it. The second reason is it's a really high HP unit that draws you a Sejuani. So sometimes just drawing a Sejuani is all you need. You don't even need to plunder sometimes. You just want to draw that Sejuani because Sejuani is such a strong win condition in this deck that even having 3 off Sejuani sometimes is not enough. And having a 4th Sejuani, I mean, drawing a Sejuani, so it's like a 4th Sejuani, is really worth it, even without plundering sometimes. Important things to note. Twisted Fate. Sometimes it's your win condition, sometimes it's not. You have to understand what is the situation of the board, situation in your hand, and everything to know if he's your win condition. Do you have card draw? Yes? Good. Can he win? Can he level up? Are you at the board state where you're pressuring the opponent to have to deal with your other stuff, where dealing with a Twisted Fate level up is hard for him? Yes, he can level up, great. Don't trade him, don't even attack sometimes. Even if he's a 3-3 quick attack or 4-4 quick attack, he might give the enemy unit HP or some way that you might lose him, and you don't want that to happen if he's a win condition. If you do not have any card draw, and he's only a 2-2, sometimes you have to understand, okay, I will not be able to level him up right now, and I'm okay with trading and killing Twisted Fate because he's not going to level up. So you have to understand, sometimes he is a win condition, sometimes not. Sejuani though, throughout the entire games, almost all the games, she is your strong win condition, and having a Plunder spell late game is so amazing. For 0 mana Warning Shot, you can freeze the entire enemy board, or you can make it rain if it hits the Nexus. You have to understand that sometimes if he has more than 3 units, it might not hit the Nexus, so you have to be careful around that. So I think that sort of concludes the entire thing of the explaining of the deck. Pretty much spells and combos together, which enable Plunder and enable both of your win conditions of Sejuani and Twisted Fate, and the third hidden win condition by taking the enemy cards versus some matchups. And oh yeah, one Fury of the North, amazing card. I was thinking of playing two, I tried it, it didn't work out so well. Having one Fury of the North seemed very nice. Fury of the North is just an amazing card. Goes great with Overwhelm units because you can do more damage, keep something alive potentially, or keeping Twisted Fate alive for another turn so he can level up. So the card in general is great in this deck, but having 2-offs didn't seem good enough. And people have asked me, why do you keep 2 Starlets here? If he's such a good win condition, why do you not have 3? The thing behind that is, if you already have 3 Merchants, which are a 2-cost unit, and you have 3 Seers, you have 6 cards that you want to get value from, so sometimes you do not want to trade with the enemy unit because it will die and you potentially maybe want to keep it alive. Then you have 6 cards that you sort of don't want to trade as a 2-drop, and you don't have a 3-drop, so you basically have so many units that you don't want to trade with. And the another thing is the deck does not have that many spells. It does have 13 spells. 13 spells, as well as the fact that you might steal the opponent's spells, so it's a bit more than 13 than in practice. But so basically you do not have that many spells. So the value that you're getting from Seer is buffing the next 1 or 2 units, +1, +2, +3 sometimes. That's basically the value that you're getting from him. So you do not want to have too many of Seers, so 2 seemed fine, 3 seemed a bit excessive. That's about it. I think I discussed every unit. I think I said everything in general. If you want to see specific matchups, I posted videos versus almost all matchups that I thought of, like maybe not all of them, but I posted most of them. So thank you all for watching, and that should be it for my guide. Have a nice day, humans.